Good day. My name is Kas Weppener, and I'm a member of the Faculty of Theology of Stellenbosch University. And I have the privilege of sharing my thoughts today with you on the relevance of studying theology in our own day. And of course, also why this faculty is an excellent place to pursue your theological studies. In the next few minutes, I will speak to you on what theology is. Also, why the study of theology is very meaningful and also relevant in our day. And of course, you all want to know what you can do with a degree in theology. I start right away with what theology is. The word theology is composed of two Greek words, namely theos and logos, meaning God, and also word or knowledge or study. In other words, theology is in essence a study of God, and it's been that through the centuries. Theology has been a way of thinking about God, and it is also a study of how people express their faith in God. Together with a subject like philosophy, theology is one of the oldest disciplines in existence, and it's even older than the university itself. And this thinking in theology has developed over the centuries along certain lines, and it came to be organized in faculties of theology in certain ways. For example, we have 3 departments in our faculty. And these 3 departments is an expression of a way of thinking about theology. The 3 departments you will see have very long names, namely Old and New Testament studies, systematic theology and ecclesiology, as well as practical theology and missiology. But actually, they are only grouped along the lines of sources, beliefs, and practices. Now, the Department of Old and New Testament Studies focuses on sources. They especially study ancient Greek and Hebrew scriptures that we know as the Bible. They, of course, also study many other ancient texts in their original context. And the experts in these departments, they are well versed in ancient languages like Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, Coptic, Latin, and other languages. On the one hand, they, by means of scientific methodologies, try to better understand those ancient texts in their original context. On the other hand, by means of theories of interpretation, they try to indicate the relevance of those texts for us in our own day. The Department of Systematic Theology and Ecclesiology focuses on beliefs. By religious beliefs, we might mean things like believing in God. Why do people believe in God? What do we mean when we say God? What do we believe about the world, about human beings? Is the world created good? One of the core beliefs in Christianity is that human beings have been created in the image of God. What does that mean and entail for us in how we live in the world today, if that is the case? I myself am a member of the 3rd department, namely Practical Theology and Missiology, and we focus on practices. We will especially define religion as something that people do. And we focus on a range of practices, for example, preaching and praying, but also everyday practices like eating and even playing online games. Now, these practices are all windows into the beliefs of people, of individuals, and also of societies. But the things that we do, these practices, are also formative. They form us in who we are and who we are becoming. So it is also very important to very critically scrutinize these practices. The colleagues in my department not only focus on Christianity, they also focus on other religions. Now, together, the study of the sources, the beliefs, and the practices provide insight for us into ancient and also into modern worldviews. It assists us to better understand the world, the people who lived before us, as well as people and religion in our own day. And in this way, we can better understand the people, what they believe, and also why they believe. By means of sources, beliefs, and practices, we also study the revelation of God's self in past and present. And when we better understand the world and we take God's revelation seriously, it assists us to engage in meaningful and life-giving religious communication in our own day. With religious communication, I do not only mean practices such as preaching and teaching, of course, that too, that's very important. But when we better understand the hurt in the world, we can in deep, comforting ways communicate God's promises by means of pastoral care. We can engage in sustainable ways in development work to make a constructive contribution towards relieving poverty, inequality, and the environmental crisis. There are so many terrains on which we can and should engage in this kind of communication. But in brief, we can say that by means of the study of sources, beliefs, and practices, we aim at our faculty to develop life-giving theologies for a world in dire need. Many people may argue that Christianity and religion has become irrelevant in a secular age, and that fewer and fewer people are interested in and engage in religion. They will make a very, very grave mistake. Just a brief look at statistics regarding religion and Christianity in the global south paint a completely different picture. Christianity is absolutely booming in our context. The latest statistic tells us that 84% of the population of South Africa adhere to the Christian religion and 5% more to other religions. Community Agency for Social Inquiry showed that more than 90% of the youth in this country engage in religious worship at least once a month. Of course, there are also many unfortunate elements in religion, also in Christianity. And therefore, it's very important to, in theology, also very critically scrutinize religion. However, the role of religion in the difficult transition from apartheid to democracy in this country should not be underestimated. The role of religion in social capital formation on this continent is unprecedented. There are so many spheres in our public and private lives in our country in which religion plays an absolutely vital and important role. And studying religion and Christianity assists us with critical thinking regarding religion and ascertaining what is life-giving theology and what is not. It can also assist us in fostering respect and tolerance for diversity in belief and religious expression. At our faculty, students acquire the necessary skills to enter into dialogue with people with completely opposing views. Globally, religion is often seen as a source of polarization. However, at our faculty, we believe religion can also contribute immensely towards tolerance and peace, and we are very serious in developing skills in this regard. When you join our faculty, there are a number of degree programs and diploma programs that you can follow. For example, undergraduate, we have the BTH and the BDiv programs. Postgraduate, we have the MDiv, MTH, PhD, and a number of other tracks. And you can obtain these qualifications, of course, for a number of purposes. Our faculty have been training pastors who serve in congregations since 1859, and we still do that. We have a number of partner churches in South Africa who have joined our faculty, and students from those churches who follow our degree programs can get licensed to serve as ministers or pastors in those churches. Many of our students also follow a youth work track and become youth workers in local congregations. Other students become community workers based on their skills in both theology and community development. There is also a very popular specialization in pastoral care and counseling, and a whole number of other tracks that you can follow. Over the past 10 years, we have also seen that very often people study theology because they want to get a good foundation for a career they plan to follow, perhaps in another sphere of life. So we often have had students who come to study an undergrad degree in theology, but then they go on to do something else like law or teaching or perhaps journalism. The famous Dr. Beyers-Naudé is an alumnus of this faculty, along with many other theologians, which include theology professors who are teaching at top international universities. And of course, there are many other people who have made a huge impact on society who studied theology, such as Dr. Russell Portman, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Bishop Desmond Tutu. So, let me conclude on why you should consider studying theology at our faculty in Stellenbosch. Well, firstly, Stellenbosch University is a vibrant, transformative, inclusive African community of learning and formation. We have a wonderful community on one of the most beautiful campuses in the world. Secondly, our faculty is one of the top 100 faculties of theology in the world, and we are the number one faculty of theology on the continent of Africa. And finally, you will find when studying theology at Stellenbosch University that some of the best professors and lecturers in the world will share with you their knowledge, their skills, and it will help you and serve for you to have a lifetime of meaningful service and work in the world. Thank you for listening.